Each song should sound like the song is hugging you.
And for anyone who has ever listened to Charlie Puth's production, you are fully aware of how successful he has been at making all of his releases big musical hugs. But he achieves this in ways you might not expect.
I've always wanted to write for theater.
I've watched countless hours of Charlie interviews and repeatedly listened to all of his discography, and the secrets he gives away are really shocking. So in this video, I'm going to go to the woods, the studio, and a brand new concert hall to show you the 5 steps Charlie consistently uses to create top quality tracks. Step 1 is sadly a producer's worst nightmare.
And I was on a walk with my dad
in this really cool room in the Philippines.
I was on a train in Tokyo.
Leaving the studio. Time to pack up. It's not quite a hotel room in the Philippines, but it will have to do. I have my acoustic guitar, my laptop, and the Clarett Plus 2 Pre, which is plugged in via USB-C cable. And even though I'm cranking up this input gain for the SM7B, the noise floor in this is incredibly low. Okay, let's see if we get some inspiration.
1 hour later.
So that might just work. It's in the same key signature, F sharp minor, that Charlie uses in multiple tracks. It's the chord progression he used on Light Switch and Attention, and it's that Charlie style track in a fast BPM, similar to the song he wrote for Kid Laroi, Stay. So I'd say about 170 BPM or a little bit faster. I have to say the fresh air definitely does hit different. Now to make the long journey home. Right, we're back. Now in step 2, we actually have to start recording some instruments.
That just makes everything.
So let's grab the Clarett Plus 2 Pre and BPM 184. Had to record a few times to make sure I played it right.
But you can use them rhythmically, which is cool, so I just bury it in the background.
So take that last recording, Command D, and pan these either side. Just about. Can you tell I'm rusty? We can name both of these tracks. Guitar rhythm. Shift Command G, so we have a group track. EQ out a lot of the low end. I just want the percussive nature of the rhythm guitar. A bit messy, but it will definitely work.
To create the illusion that something sounds louder to the human ear, you distort it.
Create a new guitar track. We'll stick with Britain Clean initially. Plug our jack lead into channel 2. Grab our electric guitar. I feel like we can do lots of cool things in the space. Dynamics, noise gate. Just so we get no sound when the volume is lower than minus 37 dB and longer release. This is such a good example of how a noise gate can be used as a percussive element. It's making the heavy, distorted electric guitar pop in and out in a really rhythmic way. I'm really enjoying this Clarett, by the way. As you can hear, the sound is super clean. And this build quality is so nice.
The bulk of those guitars are actually fake.
Create a new software instrument. Guitar. British combo synth lead. Bit too distorted? Whoever thought a classical acoustic guitar detuned down 2 octaves would sound incredible? I kind of want to save that for the sub bass. So let's Command D. Yeah, Tweed Pick synth. I always come back to this one. Just got to get rid of some of the pedal board pedals. Oh, it's in the sculpture delay. There you go. Yeah, that'll work. But it does sound horrendous. Option and click across. We have da 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 da. Yeah, the lengthen helps. And hold the last one.
The sub frequencies, 32 hertz and below. Just fills the bottom end.
We can create a new software instrument. Bass, a muted bass, because we just want that warmth. And record in E flat. I love that run at the end, so nice. Copy that in the sub bass. So the 2 basses together.
So you have a sub against the rhythmic type of bass. Ooh, that sounds so nice. So
As Charlie says, it's the combination of the real and the synthesized that really gets the power and realness coming through. Option C, and we can give them some colors. And you can add a bit of saturation to those basses, but we'll mix it at the end.
Every song I produce, I add my beatbox.
And I think it's only right I embarrass myself for the sake of the video. Oh Lord, that's embarrassing. Yeah, just get rid of all that low end because we don't need that. It's so awful. It might just work. Create a software instrument, search for Lin, and let's go for kick 1, Lin drum. Something we know Charlie has used before.
Which is from a Lin drum.
Kick, 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 kick. And I'm realizing that second half of the beatbox is much better than the first, so let's just duplicate that second half across and we can fade these in so they're lovely and gentle. I'm so talented, it's amazing. Command D to duplicate the Lin drum. Open up the library, search Lin again, clap 1, Lin drum. We might as well play it in key. 70% quantized, just so they're a bit more in time. There's definitely some latency coming through my keyboard. And duplicate that across second half. So that's just on the 2 and the 4. Incredible, it's simply amazing. And it's a common thing in production to suggest not using too many kicks. But you'll notice in a lot of Charlie's productions, the kicks nearly go overboard.
Maybe I'ma get a little anxious. Maybe I'ma get a little shy. But I can't stay mad when you walk like that, no. And I'm telling all my friends how you're the one.
Which also emphasizes the point that there's no real strict rules that you can't break. Command D, open the library again, and go for our hi-hat closed Lin drum. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Oh, hard to play. Probably should just program them in instead of playing it, but then we lose a little bit of humanness. Take these 2 bars and duplicate that across.
Kind of like keeping a tidy apartment to make room for all of your guests. These are my guests, and this is my apartment.
Let's put in a plugin, Dynamics, Compressor, Stereo. Select sidechain, make the sidechain come from an instrument, which is our kick. And now we can change the settings here to reduce the volume of the hi-hat or sidechain it when the kick hits. Open volume, down, down, up, down, down.
It's just like a little volume thing. And then when the kick comes in, you don't notice it as much, but it's just the hi-hats kind of dip down at the front transient of that kick.
And we can option, click and drag across those hi-hats to the verse, and let's grab and pitch them down, maybe a 1/5. Too much.
And it's the same volume level, but it's just I pitched the hi-hats down. That was like because I didn't want to actually make the hi-hats at a lower volume, so they're just at a different note.
And if we create an audio track, we can drag in a cymbal swell of some sort, or any sort of riser, make that rise up before that break in the pre-chorus, or at the end of the verse. And we can add more risers as we go along.
And then when you put them together, this is without it. A little softer, but very subtle, but very important difference.
Command D that Lin drum because we need to search for Lin snare. Duplicate that MIDI downwards and let's move it slightly earlier. Needs a bit more grit. How about down pitching? It's funny, even though I'm not a good beatboxer, it's definitely adding an element that helps fill out the whole sound, even at a super low volume. I might have to start doing it myself.
So we have the Juno, these chords, just atmospheric and just out of nowhere, kind of out of key.
Create a software instrument, and one of Charlie's favorite sounds, Rhodes. This one is called Watery Rhodes, but if we turn off the ring shift, turn off the tape delay, and you can always mess around with the tremolo and chorus if you wanted to make it a little bit more thick. B flat. They're all just fifths, and then up to the B. Ooh, the right hand. That's pure vibey. You make a woman go mad. Emotional Rhodes there. Way more melodic than I expected it to be. I don't think Charlie goes that melodic, but I kind of like it. So let's leave it in.
One more layer. And then you're right back in the chorus.
I love that example. It just sounds so good. And you have those swells or risers, both in the white noise, but also instrumentation. It sounds so good. And speaking of texture, I have an opportunity tonight to record a choir. And I think you know what I'm going to use to record today. It's pretty nice. We're going to use the Clarett Plus 2 Pre. And of course, it's important to notice that I'm using the USB-C cable to power the 2 Pre. It doesn't need any sockets, which makes it a super portable setup. One of my favorite things about the 2 Pre. I think that went pretty well. I had to close mic the choir because there was a person in from the radio station who wanted the audio from on stage. Other than that, I think it sounds pretty good. My plan was originally to pick up the room sound, but maybe in hindsight it's better not to have that so I can put my own reverb on it. What do you think, Danny? How did it sound?
I think it sounded class.
Well, we're about to find out. Let's go. Focusrite. Woo, Focusrite in 3. 1, 2, 3. Focusrite, yeah. All right, we're back. And I've thought of a few changes for the piece. Command D to duplicate that Rhodes. I feel like that Rhodes really puts it all together. Grab the guitar, a plectrum, plugged into input 2. Yeah, sounds pretty good. Always nice coming back with fresh ideas. So much better having all the instruments work together. Charlie does this a lot.
So you have a sub against the rhythmic type of bass. Ooh, that sounds so nice. So it sounds like a gentle hug.
On our audio track, we have a sample from the choir recording. Nice chord there at the end. Let's get that chord and let's try and get into an E flat major. So double click on the audio, file, functions, time and pitch machine, cents. How many cents do we want? Have to mess around with the pitch a good bit. Yeah. Copy that across to the verse. And that electric guitar sounds a bit thin.
I play them twice, the E flat, dun, dun, and the B flat, boom, boom, and then I pan them, and then they become this nice little stereo image.
So if we record that on the other side. That guitar sounds so good through the 2 pre, and the amp and logic is great. For the verse, we're not as wide, but if we do go to latch, we could bring them full wide in the chorus just to give it a little bit more oomph. That ending is really enjoyable. Really nice.
I'm just stacking my voice against a distorted guitar, which creates the illusion that I am singing louder.
And arguably the most important thing about Charlie Puth's production is this Step 5. And it's more complex than just recording vocals.
I love background vocal layers.
I find it super interesting at how insistent he is that every syllable lines up perfectly.
This S I'm going to drag over and line it up with this S here.
For anyone who's on TikTok, I'm sure you would have seen the Michael Jackson recordings with all the different vowel sounds they used in the recordings.
Format your voice a little bit like so my voice would be like hope, so I'm going to instead go hope, hope, and you're going to get a different vowel shape and it's going to blend really nicely.
And also recording at different distances from the mic.
One voice he'd sing it super close to the mics, one voice he'd sing it super far away, and then in the middle somewhere, so you have that nice blend.
So take your time, be patient, and make sure you get great recordings. And if you can't easily reach those high notes, don't worry, there is a solution.
I'll sometimes do this with my voice where I'll sing a lower note and then pitch it up because the vowel shape will be a little bit more consistent.
And if you think you can sing some vocals on this track, send them over to me. Maybe we can release the song together.
There's not a whole lot to this track, quite honestly.
Which is cool.
Which is what it's supposed to be.